We've got some breaking news today that's raising a lot of eyebrows. President Trump has made the decision to terminate the security detail of Dr. Anthony Fauci, the former director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases, who became a household name during the COVID-19 pandemic. But this move isn't just about one man. It's part of a larger pattern involving other former administrative officials. In this video, we'll explore Trump's reasoning behind the decision, the history with Fauci, and the larger political and security implications of this move. Let's dive right into it. I tell you, Trump's at it again. I keep saying it. He's at it. Trump made headlines again, this time announcing that Fauci's security detail would be officially removed. The decision comes as part of a larger policy with Trump, where he's stripping several former officials of their Secret Service protections. You wonder if maybe getting shot in the ear, he's like, I want people in my detail. Trump, speaking in North Carolina, justified the move by stating that when someone works for the government, they can't have lifetime security detail. When you work for government, at some point, your security detail comes off. You can't have them forever. Well, that's not how these other guys see it. This isn't something entirely new. Trump has applied the same reasoning to other former officials, including John Bolton, Mike Pompeo, and Brian Hook. But why make this move now? To understand the decision, we need to look at the rocky relationship between Trump and Fauci, especially during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic. Fauci served as a director of the National Institute of Allergy and Infectious Diseases from 1984 until 2020, but his most publicized role came when the pandemic struck. Throughout the crisis, Fauci was often the face of the government's response to the virus, making regular media appearances and advising on public health policy. However, his stance often clashed with President Trump's more optimistic outlook. Yeah, they did not agree, you could tell. Trump has been outspoken about his dissatisfaction with Fauci's response to the pandemic. Back in 2021, Trump even made a statement accusing Fauci of self-promotion and bad decision-making. He was particularly critical of Fauci's approach to lockdowns and the economic impact of extended restrictions. Trump said in a March 2021 interview, they had bad policy decisions that would have left our country open to China and others, closed to reopening our own economy, and years away from an approved vaccine, putting millions of lives at risk. For Trump, Fauci's decisions represent failures in leadership, and with that frustration building, the termination of Fauci's security detail seems like a reflection of their ongoing tension. But Fauci isn't the only former administration official facing the loss of their security detail. Over the past few days, Trump has made similar moves with other prominent figures from his administration. Just a few days earlier, Trump ended Secret Service protection for former National Security Advisor John Bolton, a decision that Bolton did not take lightly. Bolton took to social media to express his disappointment, stating, I am disappointed but not surprised that President Trump has decided to terminate protection previously provided by the United States Secret Service. Despite my criticisms of President Biden's national security policies, he non-lessly made the decision to extend that protection to me in 21. Bolton went on to highlight that threats from the Iranian Revolutionary Guard still persist, noting that they even tried to hire a hitman to target him in 2020. He clearly feels the risk is real, and while Trump justifies the cuts, Bolton's comments suggest there's a serious safety concern for these individuals. Trump also recently terminated security for former Secretary of State Mike Pompeo and Brian Hook, who was a special envoy for Iran. Former president's reasoning for these moves is clear. When you have protection, you can't have it for the rest of your life, he said. For Trump, the idea of lifetime security is excessive and impractical, especially for individuals no longer holding government positions. His stance has sparked a debate about whether these protections are really necessary or if they're just an unnecessary expenditure. This move has sparked a lot of controversy, particularly from the political left, with many questioning the fairness and safety implications of this decision. While Trump justifies the action as a matter of policy, critics argue that ending protection for high-profile figures like Fauci and Bolton could expose them to unnecessary risk. For example, as Bolton mentioned, there are still documented threats against him, including attempts by foreign agents to target him. In addition, some people argue that Trump's personal history with these individuals might be clouding his judgment. Fauci's role during the pandemic put him in the spotlight, and Trump's long-running frustration with his pandemic decisions might have played a little part in this move. Similarly, the termination of Bolton's security detail could be seen as a political maneuver, as Bolton has been a vocal critic of Trump since leaving his role. At the same time, Trump supporters see this as a fiscally responsible decision for security for people no longer in public office. They argue that if these individuals are at risk, they should use their own resources to provide protection. After all, both Fauci and Bolton have lucrative careers in the private sector. Looking forward, this story isn't likely to fade anytime soon. We can expect Fauci, Bolton, and others to weigh in on the decision and the public debate about whether or not former government officials should receive continued protection will continue. As for Trump, his actions here fit into a larger pattern of pushing back against the establishment, whether that's in his relationship with the media. Meanwhile, Trump's action raises questions about the treatment of former officials, how the government handles security, and whether decisions are being made with their safety or financial considerations in mind. How the government handles security and whether decisions are being made with their safety or financial considerations in mind. So navigators, what do you think? Is President Trump right to end security protections for these former officials? Should we have a more standardized policy for former government employees, or should each be looked at individually? Let me know your thoughts in the comments section below. As always, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you never miss an update on major political and financial stories like this one. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.